Right, 2nd November 2023, and today I've got a very, very strange uh, description of events and claims, alarming claims by Sengezo Shabangu about his role in the formation of the CCC and his plans for the CCC. You will not believe what Sengezo Shabangu said today, or in fact yesterday, during an interview that he held. So it was a long-ranging interview at ZFM ahead of the court case, which took place today in Harare. And Sengezo is proving to be a very, very big problem. And Nelson Chamisa should now take Sengezo very, very seriously, because the CCC project is basically dead in the water. There is no chance that Chamisa is going to rescue the CCC. Sengezo Shabangu has become the one person that can totally derail anything that Chamisa is planning, including his claim that he's already written to SADC and he's going to be sending people to SADC this weekend. He's also going to be sending emissaries to ZANU-PF to negotiate for the release of Job Scala. There are so many claims that Sengezo Shabangu made today, including that he formed the MDC Alliance. He is the one who started the idea of forming the MDC Alliance. He's the one who sat with Nelson Chamisa when they formed the CCC. He's got recordings of Nelson Chamisa speaking. These are all claims that he made about what he has. And I want to quickly play for you a few snippets from that interview. You can go and watch the interview, and then I'm going to conclude. This is very, very dangerous for Nelson Chamisa. And Chamisa should not take this as a court process. I said this yesterday. These guys are not playing the normal game. They want to totally destroy Nelson Chamisa. And Chamisa should get out of anything to do with these guys. So let's quickly play a portion, a very interesting portion that I want you to understand. Shawangu says Chamisa is lying about everything that he's saying, and as a pastor, he mustn't be lying. And I want to play that portion for you. It's on 48 minutes. Apologies about that. I think I've had a glitch right on live as I'm playing live here. This happens a lot. Uh, I had no power recently, so these kind of things happen. But we're going to revive the video very, very soon. So what happened here is, let's look at ZFM stereo while I'm trying to recover from what has just happened there. So that is the video, and we're going to share it immediately. Apologies about this. Right, so this is the video. Been challenged, and we want to go to 48 minutes. Right.
President of your party?
He remains the president, regardless of whatever he says, even if he climbs on top of the mountain and say he doesn't know me. But he cannot run away from his shadow. That's one thing for sure. He is misleading the world. But look, I know that people who hold the Bible, even if you've got a problem, you go to church, you visit the pastor, they don't misdirect themselves. They don't lie. Bishops are people that even if there's ceasefire, even if there's war, they will come in and absolutely try to bring the sanity. They don't lie. Mm-hmm. So I expect the President Chamisa, if he sincerely believes that he is a pastor, he should revisit his statement. I don't want to attack him on this platform, but I think the history, my relationship with him is in the public domain. He cannot mislead the public, the nation, the international community that I'm imposter.
Earlier you did say that the leadership, you refer to leadership.
Right. So this is very, very dangerous. I'm telling people that don't underestimate Shabangu and what he's doing here. It's carefully calculated to cause maximum damage. This guy is very, very smart. He's not the same guy as Monzora and all that, because he's covered his bases. He is basically committing a coup here. This is a coup that you're watching here. Sengezo is taking the CCC from Chamisa, and what he plans to do, he does not have a national agenda. He's got a tribal agenda. And this tribal agenda is to take the MPs for Bulawayo and the surrounding areas. So he has carefully chosen where he wants to pick these MPs. And then he places his people. And the agenda is clear. He does not like what is happening in Zimbabwe. He is pushing an agenda which also has other people, people from ZANU PF. But basically, the bigger picture here is that this is a tribal agenda. These guys are not just working for ZANU PF, they are also having a bigger game plan, which is based on the Matabeleland underdevelopment. They are a group which is carefully calculating. And if you do not observe what they're doing here, eventually you're going to see this thing is going to balloon into something that is even worse. And he's also derailing Nelson Chamisa's plans at SADC if there starts being divisions. So ZANU-PF is probably going to allow him as the delegation of CCC over there at SADC. Remember, at SADC right now, you've got people like Timber sitting there. It's not Chamisa who is at SADC. I don't know if Chamisa himself is going to go there. But what this guy is planning to do, to send a delegation to SADC, is actually very dangerous for Chamisa's plans to claim that he's won the elections and there needs to be a power sharing agreement. So Sengezo is not playing the inside game. He's playing a bigger game, but he does not have the popularity to go national. That's why he has chosen Mbulawa as his best. If he wins those 10 seats, he wants to use those for leverage, not only against Chamisa, but also against ZANU-PF. He's got a bigger game plan there that he's pushing. He also says Tendai BT knows him. Welshman Ngube knows him. Toxan Kupe knows him. Timber knows him. And I think I should replay that portion so that you understand what he's saying. He says he formed the MDC Alliance. He is the one who came up with the idea. He was involved in negotiations with Thabo Mbeki, and during that time, Morgan Tsvangirai and Mugabe. And he's saying he is not the small person that Chamisa makes him look like, because he was Chamisa's campaign manager during the youth days. So you can see that the narrative here that is being pushed by Sengezo is that of Chamisa as someone who is not honest, and himself, he actually calls himself his administration. Later on, you will see that he refers to his administration. He's got bigger plans, this guy.
I was in that meeting that gave birth to the Triple C. I was appointed national executive member of the MDC Alliance. So I sat in that meeting that gave birth to the Triple C. So I've been an interim national executive member of the Triple C. Now, when
Clearly, he's lying. You can see it. That nervous laughter, right there at the end, you can see that Sengezo is lying. He was not anywhere near the formation of the CCC. We know the people from the CCC, people like Padzai Mahere, people like Ostalos, people like Kibiti, it was there, Chibaya. You know everyone who formed the CCC. The people like Shabangu, they were not there. There's no such thing as a secret secretary, interim secretary general. But the plan is working. The plan is working because it's backed by ZANU-PF. It's working because there's no documentation. to prove what the CCC is. So Chamisa here, he's not going to win this on a technical legal basis. He needs to go political. And this is clear because what Sengezo is trying here, he's going to get Scala released. He's negotiating with Obet Mpofu and all these guys. That's what he says here. He's going to get Job Scala released. He's blaming people around Chamisa for the incarceration of Job Scala. The game plan is very easy. Cause maximum division, cause a Machiavellian breakaway formation of the CCC. And he says Chamisa is not popular in the Machiavellian. People are protest voting. So the proof of this is if Chamisa boycotts and he wins in Machiavellian, it's going to turn around and say, do you know that Chamisa is not popular in Machiavellian? Let's do our own thing here in Machiavellian to the people of Machiavellian. He's got a very, very tribal agenda. And I want you to mark this. This is the whole point of this thing. And ZANU-PF is going to be riding on this agenda that Sengezo Shabangu has got. He's got also the agenda to divide the top leadership of the CCC. Now you don't know who is who because he says he's got a recording of Nelson Chamisa. What's on that recording? And these are the kind of things that he's going to release in court. You should be very, very worried if you're a CCC person. What has Chamisa been saying to Chabangu? Did he try to ask him to reconsider? And what's on that recording? So very, very interesting. And you should go and watch that interview. The full interview is about 47 minutes and it's on ZFM stereo. There were two court cases today which involved CCC. So there was a court case in Harare, which is the MPs that were challenging their recall. And Chabangu is saying Chamisa is lying that he does not, is not the interim secretary general. Because if Chamisa was not lying, then he would have filed an affidavit in court to challenge him. And the party would have filed an affidavit in court to challenge him. But because they did not, they are lying. This is what he's saying. There was also a court case in Bulawayo where 6 CCC members are in court for throwing stones at the house of another CCC member. Remember, this is something that started way back before the election, the divisions caused by files. We talked about this quite a lot. They started before the elections themselves. And this is a related court case. And also Ostalos is part of that court case. He's one of the people accused of violence in that court case. And I think that was also been postponed to the 15th, or if not the 13th of November. The particular case in Harare has been postponed to before the 7th. Judgment has been reserved. But Chamisa should not hope for anything here. And Sengezo is slowly closing the gap for Chamisa at SADC. If Sengezo is allowed to go to SADC as the interim secretary general, this will become a problem for Chamisa because now you have 2 competing factions of the CCC at SADC, which will work to the advantage of ZANU-PF. So this is basically it. Sengezo Shabangu is saying he formed the CCC. He is the one who formed the MDC Alliance. He is more popular because he is known in Bulawayo. He's got a base there. He says Chamisa is lying and he's got a recording of Chamisa. Basically, Sengezo is creating his own kingdom here in the CCC. And eventually, he said the judiciary in Zimbabwe is not captured. So he's basically washing or laundering President Mnangagwa. They are friends, these guys. They know each other. He's been promised something very, very big if he destroys the CCC totally. And he's way on his path to do so. He's not worried about the bigger picture. He's only worried about the immediate gratification. This is what Sengezo Shabangu wants here. He's got no bigger picture of leading the country, of the CCC taking over, of a real election. All he wants is to get those seats from Bulawayo, and then he's done. His job is done. And Chamisa is finished. He wants to finish Chamisa off once and for all. So let's wait to see what is going to be on that recording. He's got a recording on his phone of Nelson Chamisa. What was being said there? I'm sure they're going to release it as the punch. You know, like I always tell you that there's something called the counter punch. Someone punches you, you punch them back. This is what Sengezo is planning, and we'll see what he does. Now let's look at the the comments here. Chamisa is not lying. I can assure you, Tichaona. Tichaona says Chamisa is always lying. It's not true. Chamisa is correct in everything that he's saying. Sengezo was nowhere near the formation of the CCC, and he is not the interim secretary general. I can tell you that for a fact. If someone was going to claim to be interim secretary general, it would probably be one of Ostalos or Mahere, those two, not Sengezo. And then let's look. Robert is saying his gestures can clearly tell that Sengezo is lying, especially the nervous laughter. He's got this nervous laughter, and when he starts trying to speak like a revolutionary, you can clearly see that he's trying to distract us. He's very smart. He's a very clever guy. That is why he was around Chamisa, but he's not the Secretary General or interim Secretary General of the CCC. He can say other things, but it's clear that he's got an agenda, and that agenda has got nothing to do with CCC. Sengezo is not the Secretary General of CCC. He's probably, as Gift here says, Faz or a hired gun or something, but he's not popular. He's not going to be as popular as Chamisa. The problem is Chamisa needs to make a very, very brave move. Chamisa cannot take a legal approach to this thing. He has to go political. So it's very, very popular. And he must stick with SADC. If Chamisa goes political, sticks with his demands, and stays with SADC, he's going to be successful. There's nothing that ED can do about SADC. ED has lost at SADC. No one believes the story that was said by ED in Zimbabwe, President Mnangagwa. Everybody believes the story that Chamisa said, that the election was rigged and there needs to be a solution. So that is where Chamisa needs to stay. He needs to move away from these MPs and all these things that are useless. Give that to Sengezo. Sengezo, wakapi wa mari. That's where we're going to end today. So thank you very much for watching. A very, very interesting interview. Please go to ZFM and watch. I want to advise my CCC friends. When you see information out there, don't say, oh, this is Sengezo, I want to listen, I want to watch. That interview for 4 hours is 1,000 views. There is information there that can destroy your party. You must be knowledgeable. You must be a friend of information. When you see information, watch it. Analyze what's happening. So go over there and watch and see what it is that Sengezo Shabangu is saying and what are the implications for your party, the CCC. Chamisa has got a very, very important decision to make. And it's political, it's not legal. And they need to move away from the ZANU-PF courts. Those courts that are discredited in the SADC report. The SADC report says the courts in Zimbabwe are captured. It's written in the SADC report. So don't believe that you get anything from those courts. Go to SADC, take a political approach, and put President Mnangagwa in such a tight corner that can't breathe. That is how we're going to get this thing done. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching, and good night.
Kuno aho pano mama wanna get it nice I know pura meso I know pura nzebe I know kaya marigi kama kwetu tikom When you don't come,